So with me now to respond to this revelation, Jeff Weaver. He is the former campaign manager for the Bernie Sanders campaign. Jeff Weaver, welcome back.
Thanks, Brooke. Nice to be here.
All right, so as we heard, you guys all along there were raising the alarm bells throughout the campaign. Did you know the extent of this deal between Hillary Clinton's campaign and the DNC? Did you know the extent of that deal?
I don't think, Brooke, that we knew the full scope of the deal. Certainly, we did not know about the contractual control that the Clinton campaign had over, for instance, DNC hiring and being able to veto a certain staff. But it was certainly clear, however, that back as early as April, when we filed a protest with the DNC, that Hillary Clinton and the DNC were engaged in a joint fundraising agreement that appeared, at least on its face, to be skirting federal election law and was highly improper, given that there was a contested primary going on. And I think, given that there is, as you may know, a Unity Reform Commission that is comprised of people appointed by Bernie Sanders, appointed by Hillary Clinton, that came out of the Democratic National Convention, that is now drafting a series of reforms for the party, it is important to move forward and to adopt those reforms, to open up the primary process, to deal with superdelegates, to deal with transparency, accountability, and democracy at the DNC. We have got to move forward, Brooke, and we have got to deal with these issues so that we can beat Trump in 2020.
I hear you on moving forward, but hang on, because we got to talk about what what happened. And Donna Brazile says, yes, while this was difficult news for her to learn, she says what they did was not illegal. Do you agree with that?
Well, it's not clear whether it's, I'm not going to get into the legality of it, but I will say this. It was quite courageous on Donna Brazile's part to bring these revelations to the public. I'm sure she has fallen off the Christmas card list of a number of people, but she is a courageous woman, and I do know, there was some, obviously a flap during the campaign regarding the debates and what have you, but I'm going to tell you this, that when Donna Brazile took over as interim chair at the DNC, she really did try to clean house there. She really did try to make it the type of party structure that all of us can be proud of. And I have to say that, the revelations that she released today, I think demonstrate the strength of her character and her willingness to go against the status quo, to make the party ultimately stronger. And that's the job we have ahead of us.
Had this deal, though, that's Donna. What about the country? Had this deal not been struck, Jeff, do you think that America might have seen a different outcome?
Well, Brooke, that's impossible to know, but as you remember, because you covered the race quite closely, there was time after time when the DNC interfered in the process. The debate schedule was rigged, the number of debates and when they were, that was certainly rigged. These joint fundraising agreements were improper and really looted the DNC and the state parties of funding. You'll remember in the clip you just showed when the chair of the DNC stripped us of the data that we had collected from with our own volunteers and for which we had paid the DNC $250,000. You'll remember the false charges that came out of the Nevada convention where the DNC chair was talking about chairs being thrown when, of course, no chairs were being thrown. So you had this pattern over and over and over again, and then the revelation that DNC top staff conspired to attack Senator Sanders on his religion, which is something that's a disgusting thing that should never happen in the Democratic Party. But I will tell you this, had the election been different, if Bernie Sanders had won the primary and caucus season, there is no doubt that he would have defeated Donald Trump.
Do you think that Hillary Clinton should apologize to Bernie Sanders because of this?
Well, look, I'm not really.
Yes or no, Jeff?
No, I'm not going to live in the past. This is not about apologies. This is about reform. There's a Unity Reform Commission. We will get unity through reform. And if we don't have reform, I don't think we'll have unity. And so I think there's a lot on the shoulders of the Unity Reform Commission, on the current chair of the party, and other party leaders to turn this into a grassroots party and not a party dominated by elites who are trying to rig the system behind the scenes. That's what we have to accomplish.
I'm hearing you, and I'm hearing words about unity and reform and beating Donald Trump, in the next election. And I am frankly surprised. You gave your blood, sweat, and tears. We talked so many times during this campaign. I am frankly surprised that you are not angrier about this.
Oh, I'm angry, Brooke. There's no doubt about that I'm angry. But look, ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to love the country more than you love whatever personal slight or engaging in whatever personal slight's been leveled against you. And this, look, the behavior the DNC engaged in was egregious. undemocratic, and it can't be allowed to happen again. But look, we cannot leave this country in the clutches of an administration that is not only incompetent, but that is targeting working families, people of color, LGBT community, women, and other marginalized communities. That is the goal ahead of us. But let me tell this to the elites who today still control much of the Democratic Party apparatus. If you do not open up the party, if you do not allow the people in, if you do not advocate for the types of reforms that we need, you will be destroying the opportunity we have to take on Donald Trump.
I have to tell you, in prepping for the segment, we reached out to a lot of the, Hillary Clinton campaign people. Hillary Clinton, through a spokesperson, declined to comment. The former Clinton campaign manager, Robbie Mook, was part of that. And we also reached out to former DNC chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz. They haven't responded, to us at all for comment whatsoever. Shocking. Okay. I feel the sarcasm all over your face. And just lastly, I was at Bernie rallies. I talked to these young people, and I'm just wondering what is your message to young people? You were talking to the elites within the Democratic Party, but what about your message to young people who are thinking, why bother go out and vote if the system is rigged?
Well, that is the problem when you have this type of behavior, that it helps destroy the faith that people have in the political process. But we live in a democracy, and I think what you saw with Bernie Sanders in the 2016 election, got 43% of the delegates, massive changes in the platform of the Democratic Party, and that was in an environment where it was rigged. Imagine if we can bring out more young people, if we can take back our party so that we can take back our party. That is possible, but people have to stay engaged. I understand that it's very easy to get discouraged, to try to back away from the political process, but now more than ever, people have to be engaged.
Okay, Jeff Weaver.